So, my dear Scorpio, this is your reading for the month of Aries. Sun in Aries, giving the light to the moon in your sign. And of course, the story is always that the Emperor can only be accessed through the brain, and the brain can only be trained by meditation, by looking deep within. And so learning to discern, learning to recognize that you are the transformation, that you are constantly bringing death to the people by just the way nature works, and you are born in a sign that gives you the transformation to rise, right, into the phoenix. And the whole world feels that, and the position, of course, Scorpio is one of the most difficult ones. And so we bring the feet above our head to not be thinking about it, but to be connected with it. And so meditation is really good for you as well, right? Meditation will help you to become the chief, become that personality that can say, okay, I'm going to see what does the empowerment of my head, right, of my thinking, do to my life. And when I have control over that, then I can see how things leave and how things are just constantly transforming in every inhale and exhale. Ruled by Mars and the first house of self, ruled by Pluto, which just moved on the 23rd of March into Aquarius, will go back into Capricorn, back into Aquarius, and next year, 2024, Pluto, your ruling planet, will be not in the social status of Capricorn anymore, but in the hope, in the love, in all those energies that now the age of Aquarius is bringing to us. And you are the 8th house of reincarnation. And reincarnation means to believe in something that will last. And what is that? Your soul. Your court card is the King of Cups. If your birthday is between October 13 and November 12, then this is your court card. He's facing slightly the right spinning path, and today you're getting a right spinning reading, which is connected with the Earth that spins around its own axis in 24 hours. On your full moon, which is next month, because that's when the sun is in Taurus, and Taurus is opposite of you and is giving you the light for that full moon, right? That's when you get your soul reading, a full 22 major arcana, all of them lying here with a different deck on it. And so that's the soul path to the left, and that's connected with the wobble the Earth does to the left, and that wobble lasts 25,800 years. Divided through the 12 zodiac signs, we get an age. And currently we're going from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. And Pluto, your ruling planet, is going to be stationary in Aquarius for 20 years next year, 2024. So connecting back to the last reading, where Pisces Sun, right, the age of Pisces, was highlighting Scorpio Moon, the message was a deep sexual liberation is bringing deep joy to your life, because you had the Lovers twice. You had the Lovers here in the Hermetic Tarot, and then here in this very modern eclectic Muse Tarot. And you can see the difference, right? And it's like there is a breakthrough, there is a joy, there is an opening in your life that is saying, okay, from now on, you are working further and further on a liberation that has also, of course, a creativity and a sexuality to it. And so let's see what Aries is wanting to tell you. Aries is the pioneer, the leader, the adventurer, and the action that we are taking in life. Good, so let's begin. On the position of the Fool comes the Five of Cups. And the Five of Cups is that feeling something inside of you is a little sad. But as you can see, the cup here in the Visconti Sforza Tarot is pointing to the left, which means there is a soul connection to this one cup, which then helps you in this four that we get stuck in. The four of the Aries, the I am the Emperor, I am sitting on my throne kind of energy. I can sense that there is something coming to me. Five connected with the Hierophant, which is opposite of you, and so it's kind of like saying in the next month there's going to be a deep release. Your soul is going to help you to release a lot of sadness, deep sadness, and it's a test. It's always, the fives are tests, the five senses and how you go about it, right? The four senses that we can feel here, the earth, the water, the fire, and the air. And the fifth sense is always space. It's always that Akashic records that is then bringing you the information. And here you see how the soul is facing left. And all you need to do is to focus on your soul, is focusing on the fifth element to get out of sometimes the attachment of those other four. And of course, this is Mars in Scorpio. Mars, the Emperor, is ruled by Mars. So there is something speaking to you of a certain attachment sometimes, and you gotta truly deeply letting go of that. On the position of the Magician then comes this state of consciousness, which is an inspiration, the Rainmaker. And that's the card number 42. So here you have a 4 as well, right? When we just see the graphics of this card, you have 4, and up here the 5th, which doesn't really belong to the other 4. And so you have a 4 here in a way with the 4 of the Aries energy, right? And Aries is that responsibility that we take over our heart, over our emotions, over our feelings. And here are a lot of feelings that are needing to be released, and you feel after that a liberation. Look at that. She's like opening her arms, she's spreading her wings, and she's literally like, yes, I am glad that the soul has given me this feeling. And then the 2 is of course your intuition. The High Priestess is that moment of like intuitive, I know that the Rainmaker is that liberation, is that pouring down from the heavens. The rain that is coming from the heavens is the soul speaking to us, right? And in the Magician energy of the inspiration, this is inspiring you to recognize that sometimes when I cry, I feel I am blessed that I am able to cry and release, because it's a healing. And this crying is almost like a crying that the soul has initiated, that the soul has brought to you, and is really that big transformation, right? Because Mars in Scorpio, it's like the fighter that is trying to control his feelings, and we cannot control our feelings. Feelings are so powerful that when they break out of us, then a true liberation is coming to us, and then calculated together we get a 6, so we go from 5 to 6. It's a succession here. And the 6 is self-love. The 6 is recognizing that I am loving myself and no one else needs to love me except me. And so you're getting quite immediately a strong message here. Then on the position of the High Priestess comes the 9 of Pentacles. And interesting enough, in the German reading, this card came up here as well. And so I recognize now that in the center is the 9th pentacle, and she is the intuition. She is the one that says, okay, intuitive, I know I have to choose between dark and white, yin and yang, masculine and feminine, And so I bring myself in the center. So I have 4 coins above me, 4 coins below me. And there is even though the number 9 is an odd number, there is a beautiful pattern now being created, because then you have again these 5 coins in the center with 2 up here. And you can see how we can read this in different ways once you understand numbers. Right? And so, of course, these old cards where the smaller corners weren't shown with a picture in it where we understood right away, okay, this is what it means. Only an initiate person that was initiated into the brotherhood or into the secret school can read the cards. And so you see here this beautiful pattern. We have 4, and we have in the center 5. But we also can create a triangle here. We can create a triangle here. And so you see there is something that is speaking quite profoundly through the 9. The 9 is then a completion. We go from 5 to 6. That self-love brings then a completion to you, a complete completion that manifests in the physical world, because this is Yesod. Yesod is, of course, the Hebrew word for foundation. Then comes on the position of the Empress, the age of Aquarius. So Aquarius is going to affect you when Pluto is moving, or has already now moved into Aquarius, and you feel that. You feel all of a sudden there is no more need to be climbing up the social status. There is the need now for giving birth, because the number 3 of the Empress is giving birth to the first form, right? And that's the dot, is just a dot, the number 1. Then the 2 is then a line between those 2 dots, and then the 3 is the first form, is a triangle, and that form brings now here as well a pattern where I can create a triangle, I can create a square, and again we have the pattern of this here. You see that? It's in the center here, the coin, and here in the center is that big star, the star number 8, and we have here a 4, and then here the 3, right? And you can see again the arrangement of these numbers creates sacred geometrical patterns. And she is all naked, facing the left spinning path. She's pouring the water into the water and the water into earth. So you can see that here the 17, the 1, brings the rain, the waterfall, the water is flowing, the tears are flowing, it's good, it's releasing things that need to be released in this age. Right, in the transition from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. And you can see that the rainmaker is literally saying, yes, things gonna release and come down from heaven. And then the 7 is that success is also a weak point, but also a success, right? Because when there's a weak point, we're challenged to overcome it, and then we feel that we are successful. We are not feeling successful just because someone gives us something. We feel powerful and successful when we achieved something on our own. Calculated together, there is an 8. And so you see the infinite loop of the magician, right? That is above his head, the 8, giving birth here to the 8 star, with the 8 pointed star that brings you into a connection to a higher consciousness, and the hope and the belief that, of course, Aquarius brings to us. Then comes Aries. And on the position of Aries comes the 5 of Swords. And the 5 of Swords is Venus in Aquarius. So there is something that is shaking you, because now we know why you have here this sadness. And the 5 of Cups and the 5 of Swords, this is feminine and this is masculine. And it's these words sometimes words that can hurt. And he's sitting here, and these other two people are turning away from him, and he has 3 swords and 2 swords here, and it's almost like he's recognizing, okay, in my mind, maybe I have won something. And you can see 3 and 2 swords, as the 2 swords point in the soul directions. Meanwhile, these 3 are pointing down to earth. And the 5 senses again, right? It's like the Emperor can sometimes bring out of us this, you know, aggressiveness, because that's what Mars does, because Mars in Scorpio has brought a sadness, but now Venus in Aquarius, with Aquarius as the major arcana next to it, there is something in your world that is making you maybe think about, why do I have to now put water in the water and water in the earth? Because it's almost like he's looking at her and he's saying, what are you doing? And she's like, my dear child, you got to give everything back to earth. You cannot keep anything. You cannot keep this. These are your 5 senses, right? But why are 3 laying here and 2 laying down here? Again, there are 3 people in it. So each one has these 3 swords, but 2 are still lying on the floor. So what are those 2 about? The 2 left is always that moment where we recognize that's the duality that plays with us, right? The 3 is the first form. And so the Emperor is almost giving form to the Empress. It's pushing you to recognize something here profound, because he's sitting here and looking at her and he's like, what are you doing? And she has only 2 cups in her hands, or 2 pitchers, and she's pouring, right? She's giving, she's selflessly giving back. And then comes on the position of the King of Cups, comes the cup. And this cup is the Holy Grail that you holding in your hand, and in your right hand, which is the masculine side, right? And so you can see how just one little drop is falling into this cup. And in one little drop is the whole ocean. The whole ocean is made of little drops. You are being invited, because this is the center of your reading. You are invited to handle everything now with love, to act upon love, to recognize that here you are looking at her and you're learning something. And then this makes sense, because the cup that is pouring into the soul is now standing here and is giving you like back. If you recognize this, then you will always be connected to source, to the highest, to whatever you want to call it, right? We have all different names for something that cannot be seen but will be felt, or is felt, when we open ourselves. And so Aquarius, that Pluto has moved into Aquarius, is bringing to you something quite profound. You're recognizing now something. You're sitting here and you're like contemplating about the picture that you're seeing here, and then it's almost like, yes, you understand, oh, well, I am the king of love. And here comes the cup and is reminding you to act with love upon the people, upon those people around you that are giving you maybe a hard time. Then comes on the position of Scorpio, the transformation, death, right? The 3 of stones. And you see now here, these 3 stones are arranged again in a triangle, which is pointing upwards. And that's fire, and that's the masculine, right? That is saying, start building something strong that will last into the age of Aquarius, so that Pluto has then the power to see that you have here 9, and then you get another 3, which is then 12 stones, and 12 are the 12 zodiac signs, right? And the 12 becomes a 3 again. So it's what you're building. It's not what you have done is important. It's what you're building. It's what you're doing right now. And the 3 of stones is connected with Mars in Capricorn. And so you will recognize when Pluto goes back into Capricorn again, that you are feeling inspired to build something again, right? Build something substantial for you. And so it's very clear that this Pluto transition between Capricorn and Capricorn and Aquarius is playing on you, right? Because we have here Venus in Aquarius, right? And we have here Mars in Scorpio. So there's a lot of energies that are very clearly speaking to you. You got to look deeper within. And here this is Venus in Virgo, and Virgo is that completion. Again, the completion that you feel like, okay, I have arrived. I am really satisfied with who I have become, right? And that's why your intuition is strong and complete. And then comes on the position of the moon, which is that longing to evolve, that longing to go up the mountain. And you can see the path that goes up here to that mountain where the hermit is standing, right? Up here in the mountain, the hermit stands. And look who you get up here on this mountain. You get here this very powerful watchers, transpersonal energy. And it's up in the mountains. You can see there is this mountain range. And so Pisces, the dream world of Pisces, is saying evolve, keep evolving, keep going out of the deep waters of the subconscious. And you are, and then comes again here a 6. So with that liberation comes then of the Rainmaker and the Watchers, that deep liberation. A 6-6 portal, 2 times 6 means you are creative in the way you love yourself, and this self-love is something that now you have built, that you have really worked on. And yes, your intuition knows that you worked on it, and it's really important that you understand that 3 that is in your 13, right? You have a 1 and a 3, and you are actually a 4. And so you are connected with Aries, because 13 becomes a 4. And so you feel Aries very much. And so you go into the path of the humanness, into that, yes, I am wanting to live. And even though when I die, I reincarnate again, and I get more and more clear with what the messages are and my intuitions are. And so the moon is helping you to evolve into the Watcher, into coming up here into a very strong, empowered personality that you recognize now is wanting to come to you through the moon in your sign. Because the moon in your sign, you have the 3 of stones. And again, Mars in Capricorn, you want to build something, and to build this, right, you really need to believe in yourself and trust yourself and know that you can do it. Then comes on the position of the sun. The sun. And the sun is a 6 as well. Here it's the 19, right, which then becomes a 10, becomes a 1. But here we have the number 6. So you have a 666 portal. 3 times 6, that's magic. That's the hexagram. That's knowing that you have the triangle that's pointing upwards and the triangle that's pointing downwards, right? This is the triangle that's pointing upwards, and in here we can see the triangle that's pointing downwards. So in the middle with these 5 you have the hexagram, and that's the Star of David. And the 3 times 6, it's like you empower yourself by loving yourself. And the sun, it's almost like it's giving you its love, it's melting, it's giving you everything so that you can be empowered and be the rainmaker. You are the watcher, and you are at the same time connected with the sun, which is in Aries, and Aries then has the 5 of Swords, and that's where you are recognizing to observe and watch the star that you are looking at through the 5 of Swords, right? The star. And the star is, of course, we think, oh, the sun, beautiful, right? It's its own energy, but the sun is a dwarf star. All stars look like this. They're giant, huge balls of lights, and so we see them as stars, right? And so the sun brings to you through Aries, the 6, again, the understanding that rain comes from above, the sun comes from above, all the information comes from above, and it's almost like you are understanding that now, and you like, it's almost like you're getting here a feeling of the 6th sense, right? The number 6 is the 3rd eye. It's almost like the more you're staring at the star, at the age of Aquarius, the more you focus, the more you awakening your 3rd eye, and you're becoming yourself the Earth star, right? It's like really beautiful what comes here through to you. And then what is really, really beautiful, as the last card on the world, you are getting the Hermit. And the Hermit is facing the Earth or the human path, and you can see how the physical body goes into the human path, but the head is going into the soul path, looking over. And here comes the 9 portal that is going to give you your intuition, knowing that you are complete, knowing that you are really at the right path. There might be a Virgo that is helping you. There might be an Aquarius that is helping you, right? And so you recognize now that this sadness is being understood in withdrawing from the 5 senses, which is pratyahara. Pratyahara is, I am going into the desert and I meditate, and I recognize now that I have everything deep within myself, and I'm letting go. And when I cry, it's actually not something, oh my God, it's dreadful, it's heavy. It's actually joyous also, right? It can be very liberating. It can be very freeing. And you are the liberation. You are that I want to be free. And that's where then this cup comes in, right? That one cup that you find deep within, and you see the sun here now further away, but you feel it also behind you. It's almost like the sun is keeping you warm from the back, and you can literally then here see the love that you are born into this sign, particularly Scorpio, which is for a lot of people a difficult sign, but here you are the king of love, and you are getting that one drop, and you are recognizing, all I need is myself. All I need is to love myself, and everything will fall into place. And then this cup above makes sense, because when you meditate, that soul is pouring all its love into you, and you are able to sit here and be like, oh my God, I am enjoying myself. I love myself. And that's what meditation does. And you are doing the meditation. You are, because you're sitting here. You see that? You are working on yourself, and you are recognizing that Aries is bringing a strong, powerful energy to you, and you have that 666 portal. You are protected in the hexagram. It's one of the most powerful symbols there is, right? And in the Jewish tradition, it's in the flag even. So here you are recognizing that you are getting empowered. Yeah, you're feeling really empowered through the sun in Aries. It's speaking to you really deep through the cup, through the subconscious, through the rain, through the pouring of your emotions out into the world, and not holding back ever, but just give what you have deep within you, because your soul is giving you that, so you can be stable and strong. Wow. What a beautiful message. I hope I see you in the next one, because then you get your full moon reading, right? And you have a 5/5 portal for Taurus. because then the sun is in Taurus. And so here you have one more time a look into, of course, the way you think and the way you feel. In the month of Taurus, you're getting there, then your full moon reading, your soul reading. Until then, I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.